Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about why you should be using cloudy days to your advantage as a visual effects artist. Now, overcast days provide many different benefits for visual effects artists. In this video today, we're going to be talking about how it helps us with lighting, also with compositing, and then finally we're going to talk about some photogrammetry. Now, to get started, let's talk about lighting in our scene. So I just have a basic scene inside of Blender. Basically have this guy walking around and then the camera is tracking everything. Just real basic scene. I'm not going to explain how I set it up or anything since we're just focusing on lighting right now. So basically we have this overcast day and everything, so you can look around on the trees and everything and you'll notice that there aren't many shadows and stuff, and that's really the biggest thing that we're going for, is not a lot of shadows and kind of just a basic image when it comes to lighting and everything. That just means that we're going to match our lighting a lot easier than we would be if we had harsher shadows or something else. So one way we can do this is actually to bring in HDRI into our scene. Now there are plenty of free HDRIs on the web. I'm going to have some links down in the description to a couple websites that I use. But basically you can just find free foggy HDRIs. So we're going to go to the shading tab up to world. Then we can just add in an environment texture, and then we're just going to add that in. Plug the color to the background and then open up our HDRI. We can see that already our lighting matches a lot better into our scene and everything, so that is looking really good and everything compared to what we had before, and it's just a really easy setup that we have. Since overcast days there isn't much variation in the lighting, so most HDRIs should work for your scene. This is just a really nice way to kind of get some basic lighting in your scene. If you didn't want to do HDRIs and you actually wanted to make your own lighting in the scene, however, let's just unplug this and do it the manual way. That is also super easy. We're just going to come back out to the layout tab, and then we can scroll out, and we're just going to add in a basic light, and for this we only need one light, so that is very nice, whereas before we would do advanced lighting setups and everything. So let's just come out of here. I'm basically just going to position this light up above our character and everything, make sure it's super up there so the shadow doesn't look any weird or anything. This is basically just going to be the cloud light, so we can just come over here. I'm just going to change the power up to something crazy like that. That looks pretty good. You will notice it's more sunlight right now since we can see this harsh shadow. To get rid of that, we can actually just increase the radius up. So just increase the radius. I'm going to say about right there. That looks pretty good. And there we go. With just one light in our scene, we already have our lighting matching pretty well and everything. On the screen right now is actually the final result that I did with this method and everything, and it took so much less time than if it wasn't a cloudy day. Okay guys, so the next thing that you can do with cloudy days and everything is to actually use it for compositing. Now let's go into this default scene in Blender. We're just going to go up to the compositing tab. I'm going to hit use nodes, get rid of this render layers. Then I'm just going to add in a image I captured. Okay, so here is our image. Let's just shift control click to view that. Just zoom out a bit. You can see that we actually have just a tree line and everything, and the cloudy day is behind there and everything. And so what we're going to use with this method is to actually separate the sky from our foreground and everything. And that's really easy since we have a nice solid color in the sky. Now this is basically the same process as doing a green screen or whatever, but we're going to use a different method. Instead of using chroma keying, which is what green screen uses most of the time, we're going to be using what's called a luminance key. Basically a luminance key, I guess I can just add it in real quick and show you. So add in a luminance key. Basically luminance is a value in a pixel that basically determines how dark or light a pixel is. It's like an extra value to RGB and everything. So what we can do is actually crunch these numbers in, and that will basically give us a result that will only pick a certain luminance value in the object. You basically just want to crunch those numbers in until you get a result that you like. Here is what I picked for my general setup. But for yours it might be different. It's different on every shot you do, so you always just want to try to dial that in a bit. You'll see that it captures luminance values that we don't want, such as this house right here and stuff. We can actually add in a mask to that later, but let's just go ahead and add in a alpha overnode to use to combine some stuff. So we're going to combine this image, so plug that into the top, and then we're going to add another image down here, which is basically just going to be a sky texture. Okay, so here is our sky texture. We're just going to make that go up here to the second image slot. If we view this alpha over now, we should see that the sky is above our little background thing. Now let's actually add in our luminance key. So we're just going to plug this matte into the factor of our alpha over. Now you should see that our tree is actually cutting out this little image and everything. We actually need to scale this up, so let's just add a scale node right here. And then we're just going to set this from relative to render size. And it should be doing some weird stuff right here. That's actually because we don't have our render resolution correctly set, so let me do that. Okay, so now we have our correct resolution set up here, so let's just shift control click that again to refresh that, and now we can see this is looking a little bit better. So this is pretty cool and everything, just a fast little thing that you can use to cut out some objects and stuff. We will see that we still have this problem, so for the sake of my shot, I'm just going to quickly walk you through how I would do a mask. So just go to the movie clip editor, do mask, and open up our image. Let's go ahead and control click. We're just going to basically make a little mask around this area. Try to get as much of this area outside as possible. So just going to close up the mask like that. We can come back into compositing. I'm just going to add in a mask now, like that. Then we can bring in our mask here, and then we need to combine those, and we're going to use a mix with a factor set to a multiply. Then we can bring the mask here, and then the luminance key matte we can bring into the other socket. So now that has basically removed all the values down here. So here is what it was before, and then here it is after. So it just basically removes all those values down there. And we can replace that factor of our alpha over. And now we have a cleaner result, and so it keeps more of the luminance values out of our range down here. So this is the final result that we got. You can also do it with videos and everything. A couple examples I've done in the past are on the screen now. So this is just a real easy way to kind of get some cool effects going on. And you can really only do this on very overcast days or days where there aren't a lot of clouds in the sky. The final thing I want to talk about is photogrammetry. Now, I don't have much experience in photogrammetry, but it's a real nice process that you can use to basically get free 3D models without having to actually model it out inside of a 3D program. You basically take pictures of a real life object going all around it on all angles and from all sides. And when you plug all those images into a computer, it is able to determine where that model is and basically create a model of what it thinks the environment looks like and everything. So you can use it for objects, for your room, or for anything else that you can find in real life. What's nice about most programs now as well is that it actually bakes the texture onto the model itself, so you don't really have to do any texture work or anything. But when you do texturing, you want to make sure that there is nothing on the actual texture that isn't going to be there in the 3D render or anything, such as shadows. You don't want any shadows baked into your objects. So say if you're doing photogrammetry during the day, you don't want harsh shadows on your object. So that is where the overcast day comes in. We actually have very even lighting, so that means no shadows on your object when you're capturing it in real life. Basically, that means when we import the object into a 3D program, it's not going to have any lighting data baked into the object onto the texture, so we can change around that and have more flexibility inside of a 3D program. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Now, overcast days are a great thing, a great resource for beginner VFX artists and everything. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. We have a Patreon and Discord. Links to those are in the description below. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.